heal a song that's never been heard. How do you know when you hear the call? What do you do when you've done it all? Cannonball, cannonball, cannonball. It's not what you do, it's how you do. Be anything you want to be. It's not what you got, it's how you use it. You be you and I'll be me, it's just a matter of style. You can't fake it, mile after mile, feeling free. If you got the soul, you can make it. Move 'em out, let 'em roll, from sea to shining sea. Ball, cannonball. What do you do when the mountain is there? How do you answer the challenging dare? And when your back's against the wall, what do you do when you've done it all? Cannonball, cannonball, cannonball. It's not what you do, it's how you do. Be anything you want to be. It's not what you got, it's how you use it. You be you and I'll be me, it's just a matter of style. You can't fake it, mile after mile, feeling free. If you got the soul, you can make it. Move 'em out, let 'em roll, from sea to shining sea.
Yes, indeed. Good afternoon, morning, ladies and gentlemen, mothers, fathers, daughters, sons, brothers and sisters. This is the Apex Online Racing F1 2017 Season 14 Round 9 here at the Red Bull Ring in Austria. My name is King-Kodiak and I will be one of your commentators throughout this evening race. Joining me in the commentary box is the lovely, wonderful Lord of the Airways, Mr. Hamish Sopwith.
Yes, good evening everybody, wherever you are in the world. It is time for Round 9 in Austria. What a track this is. It's 4.3 kilometers of absolute pedal to the metal at 65% full throttle. We're going to see an ultra close qualifying with the most drivers we've seen in a while. We've got 19 drivers and we've got even more new drivers to bring to the table this time.
That we do. We have got the legendary, or Tati, there's two legendaries in the sense of they were both taking part in the esports events. We have got Fabrizio Donato, as we saw last week, but we have also got in the paddock this man, Core Isaac Price. He was in the semi-final in London. So he also joins us. He is stepping in for Marek in the Haas, I believe it is. We have got Brandon Lee. He is also with us. He's just started his outlap. Oh, we've got trouble already. Oh dear. Brandon Lee, he was ghosting. That was what the yellow flag was for. Brandon actually just stopping on track, giving himself a bit of space before he starts his hot lap. We have a few drivers that have actually joined the ACR camp, and oh crikey, we're seeing some time coming. We've also got Sven, who's just jumped into the second place spot with a 1:05.5. He replaces Afro in the Renault team. So Sven is now in a full-time drive for the remainder of the season. So we have Brendan, Sven and Isaac that's in this race that were part of the esports scene. So really adding a lot of spice to this mixture.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got like 7 drivers now who took part in the semi-finals, or 7 or 8. It's quite an incredible number, and they're all racing tonight. We should see a really close race. Danny, what a time, a 1 minute 5.4, that's good. I think a low 105 is going to be good for pole, but a 0.4, that's a fantastic banker lap. He's going to be coming into pits now, so he can get some fresh rubber on, and so he can...
Oh dear, we've got trouble. Sorry, we've got trouble. There's one of the Renaults. Just trying to figure out who it is. Is it non-runner that was out there? It was non-runner has overcooked it at that's turn 4, and he's now away again. Oh, that's not what he wanted to do so far.
No, absolutely not. I mean, it's quite an easy track to go wide and spin out. I mean, it's very high speed. There's a lot of tricky corners. I mean, you've got turn 4, major traction zone. That's pretty difficult. You've got turn 7 and 8, and getting the X off turn 7 is very important. Turn 9 and 10, they're so high speed, and when you're going 110% like these guys are, it's so easy to lose a back end. So I'm not surprised that non-runners already span it, but I'm sure he won't be the only person today.
Now, Sven really made an impression on the league last week in Baku by getting a great second place to start his points tally off at a great rate. We have got Formula Danny, who was the victor last time out. He's in the pits. And exactly as you just said there down in the chat, we have got quite a few esports races, as Hamish has alluded. Looks like one of the Haas guides is about to come out. Yes, it is. So who is that is coming onto track? It is Formula Danny. So our pole sitter is not hanging around. He's coming straight out to try and better his current pole time, 1:05.490. Now, what I've been told, pit strategy wise, and I'll be interested to see if this marries up to what you've been told as well, Hamish, is a pretty slam dunk one slop, ultra soft to soft. Unless you're outside of the top 10, you might want to go super softs to softs.
Yeah. That's interesting, actually. I've heard slightly differently.
Ooh,
a two-stop will work with little traffic. If you're one of the front runners and you decide to come in early, apparently a two-stop's quicker in time, but not with traffic. You can't get traffic on that middle stint, which should be something like an ultra soft, super soft, super soft. But there's quite a few varying, lap tyre wear sort of combinations, as Topar almost loses it into the side of Brandon Lee around turn 7-8. So that was one of the tricky corners I was talking about earlier, but Topar's going to have to abandon that lap. And we can see the top 15 within a second, which is pretty good.
Yeah, top 10 within half a second, so that's an incredibly close. And we can expect to see these times come down. The only man not to have set a lap. A lot of people setting that lap very early as well, I've noticed. The only man not to have set a time so far is Isaac, and he is just coming up to the final turn 8. Well, my map says 8. I'm pretty sure that this is supposed to be a 9 turn, so
that is 9. Yeah,
that's 10. 9. Yeah.
I don't know if you want to. So I don't know if you want to stay on board of Isaac, and we can run through a lap. So really late braking, about 100 meters. Get the early turn in, making sure you don't go wide, which is managed nicely. There's a sausage curb, and if you hit that, it's game over. Approaching up in 8th gear. Slipstream is really valuable around here. Just after 100 meters, try not to lock up. He's done a pretty good job. I'm not sure if he locked up or not. The cameras do deceive us sometimes.
That's true.
Coming up towards turn 6, so you'll be braking around that bridge, which he's done nicely indeed. Not drifting car out too wide. That's good. He's got a lot of good traction. Now this is just a quick shift down a couple of gears into 5th. You don't really have to brake, you just tap it, and then you can really use the sort of the camber of the corner almost to get round. Again, you just tap the brake and you can accelerate off turn 7 and 8. Turn 9 is very difficult. You brake 50 meters, get the car turned in, not going too wide, out compromise this corner. And he's done up the corner pretty nicely as well. This looks like a solid lap. What is it? It's 5.8, which isn't slow, but it is
10th. Look at that, 4,000ths of a second slower than Failer in 9th. Good grief, that is a very, very, very close.
Sorry to interrupt, Tim. Oh my God, Tim, 1,000th of a second off Danny. Well, boy oh boy, has Tim got any more time? This track being so short, it's like, as we see, 1:05, and it's going to be about 1 minute 10 for an outlap. You can really get out late. it's not like Spa where you need to be getting out now for your next lap. You can get out nice and late, so we might see traffic towards the end of quali.
Look at that, and that's our two championship leaders as well. Sven is not far behind. He's less than a tenth off of the pole time as well with that 105.561. Where is he? He's in the Renault. He's coming in as well. Let's have a look at ATR Raven. He's coming in. I would imagine everyone that's set the time is probably going to be coming in. So have a look at Kaelan. Yep, he's going to jump in the pits. Now, it has been advised for drivers to get into the pit lane entrance early, as you just saw Kaelan do. Do not take the next corner and then jump across the line. It is frowned upon and is likely to be penalised post-race. The game doesn't penalise you, but it is something that is frowned upon because of the amount of time you gain. But it's also quite a dangerous move.
Yes.
If you're committing to the pit lane early, you're letting drivers around you know that you're committing to it early and not sticking to the racing line.
Sorry, Kodiak, it's a very obvious pit entry, and it is required to you by the rules, as you've just mentioned. Interestingly, I was going to mention Max. He's in P4 at the moment. He actually got pole last time out. A 1 minute 7.4, season 13. So it'll be interesting to see how Max does now. We know it's one of his favourite tracks, as he got pole last time. And a lot of the drivers do like this track, so let's see if he can climb up any further than fourth.
He's on his outlap now, just watching Kez coming around that last turn, getting a little bit sideways doing so. Does he improve from 106? He does. 106.0 up to 12th. That's only 6/10 off of pole. One person we haven't really mentioned is Fabrizio Donoso. He's only one position up, 105.9 in the. Oh, he's run wide. He's on super softs, interestingly. So he's opting. Is he opting for a different strategy on the thinking of he's not going to qualify within the top 10?
Possibly. I mean, non-runner's doing that as well. I mean, I think he did. What? Hang on. Let me just have a look. See, when he set, everyone set their best laps on ultra softs. So if he can improve on this now. So if he can improve on P11, then yeah,
he'll be on those super soft tyres, yeah.
But if he, well, he obviously if he's outside the top 10, he doesn't get the option. So I suppose he'll be starting whatever tyre he wants now. If he gets in the top 10, he's starting on super softs. If he doesn't, he might start on ultra softs. That's what he set his best lap.
Assuming, of course, it's dry. We had rain last time around.
Oh,
Danny!
Faster.
Oh, he's taken 2 tenths, 2.5 tenths indeed, off of his time. Oh, that is going to wake everybody up, as we've just seen. I think it was one of the Toro Rossos part on the side. It was, but they were rejoining their line. I'm just seeing Fabrizio Donoso coming across the line. Does he improve on those super soft tyres? I doubt he's going to, and indeed he does not. He remains in 11th position. Look at that. This is a big stream of cars. Everyone is actually on track. Kanon has just started his time lap, so everybody's either done their lap or is doing their lap. It's not often we have 19 drivers all trying to set. Oh, we got trouble.
No, it's not a major issue. Someone's parked on the inside of 7. But it's off the racing line, and Brandon Lee, I think, has he abandoned his lap? It'll be interesting. He's still going flat out. Oh, he's lost it.
No, he unsettled the car on the exit of, I think it's turn 8, isn't it, where he lost that. And that's a shame. He'll be furious with himself for that one.
Oh, there's someone in the gravel. That is Kez. He's just beached it.
Oh, dear.
That's not good. Brandon's going to be frustrated. He did get put off by turn 7 with the car. Non-runner
did improve on his time indeed. 105.9, which is a pretty respectable time actually on the super soft tyres.
Yeah, Sven has gone up to P2. He pushed Max down to P3. Max is on not a hot lap. He's on the in lap.
Well, he's now under checkered flag conditions. So look at that, but that's still 2 tenths, 2 and a bit tenths off of Danny. My God, that's a belting lap from Danny.
Yeah, it was. Hey, I think we've seen this before by Danny. He's just able to pull out the bag. Hasn't improved on his lap.
There's a Williams that's parked across the track. It's Kez. So he has actually retired from the session, so he has no control over that car. And that may have actually put Max off, but that would not have been Kez's fault, as he had actually retired from the session. Everyone is now done, so our qualifying positions, I love the fact that it looks like he's showing a yellow flag in the pit lane, but that's actually showing it on the start-finish straight. But everyone is under AI control, so not anything anyone can do about it. So yes, our qualifying positions are set, and look at that! What a cracker!
That's so close. I mean, if Danny hadn't improved as much as he did, he would be. Everyone would be within a second, which is a first, really. Last time we had a qualifying grid this close was when was it? Was it Russia, I believe?
The only person who isn't within a second, as much as I hate to say, is actually Fizzy.
Yes.
Yeah, first to 18th, all within 1 second of the pole time. I mean, that is stupidity partly because the track is so short.
Yeah.
But I think it was China where we had a really, I think it was top 15 we had then. So everybody bar one within a second of the pole time.
Yeah, we're just waiting now for the sort of everyone to get back into the pit lane. Some drivers are still on track and coming in. So that's why we've got this little delay. Brandon, he's going to be frustrated with P6, I think, so we'll have to see what he is able to do. Max is retired from first session.
Looks like that's triggered it.
So very close qualifying. Very impressive.
Right, take it away, Mr. Hamish.
So, Formula Danny, pole, it's a 105.2, fantastic lap time. Sven, his esports competitor, he's just 2 behind, although that's quite a big gap compared to what we have. Behind him, we have Max, ACR Timp, and ACR Raven, 2 ACR guys next to each other. Brandon Lee, Nobody, Topa, Fela, and Isaac, the new joiner. He's going to be pleased with P10. We've got Fab Racer, Non-Runner, Ramdrop, Kalon, Seagro, Slick, Ryko Gordon, and AOR Fizzy. Pretty exciting grid, and I can't wait to see how this race pans out. It's going to be so close.
Indeed. Right. As we wait for everybody to rejoin the session, I'm glad we're not facing the same kind of technical problems we did last time. Well, I faced last time, let's be honest. So, yeah, we're just waiting for all of our drivers to jump back in. It's unusual, though, that everybody is taking time to rejoin. I'm just hoping we haven't got a problem. We've got 2. Yep, they're beginning to report in now, so hopefully not.
Sometimes that intro we get at the start of the races, that is normally just people leaving it on. Sometimes people go for a very quick toilet break or something like that as well.
And whether they like it or not, here we go then.
To start.
5 lights, wind them up and let them go! Can Sven now start challenging for the lead? It was a decent start by the Haas, but it is a better start by the Renault. There is Max, you see, trying to challenge. Tim's going through on the inside, trying to challenge for that 3rd position. He's not... Oh my goodness me, you can see there's 3 wide further down. Sven has got that lead in his sights. Formula Danny has just about managed to hang on to it. Raven and Brandon Lee swapping positions. Oh, there's position swapping all over the place. Oh my goodness me, very, very slow through turn 2. We've got a spinner.
It's a huge collision at the hairpin. Huge collision. About 3 or 4 drivers just span out. You've got Topo in last.
Yeah, Seagro is in there. I think Ryko Gordon was caught in there as well. Formula Danny has, I think, did lose the lead very briefly, heading into turn 3, but he's managed to get it back again. Brandon Lee's back up. Brandon Lee's up to 4th. Oh my God, there's position swapping all over the place.
Yes, sorry I interrupted. Kez just put it into the grass after getting up to like P14. He was doing pretty well, but just put it in the grass. So that is the position lost for him. We got a position for the top 10, which is Kalon inside of Fela, side by side. Those two don't want to touch, and they do a good job of not touching. Battling slightly further on, we've got Nobody and Raven. I don't think Nobody's going to try and move, as they've just destroyed the braking marker.
Oh, Donaso already has a 3-second time penalty. That's impressive at the end of the first lap.
That is very impressive. Brandon Lee, he's gained 2 positions off the start, so good job from him.
Ooh, that's Ramdrop getting
it nice and clean.
Ramdrop is very, very close. Kalon's just fallen another position. Look how tightly bunched they all are. Again, it being a short lap, it will take a while for the field to spread out. Yeah, that's the Haas of Isaac trying to do something about it. He's lost 2 positions. Kalon is on the soft tyres. He's gone for a very... Actually, several people outside of the top 10 have opted for the soft tyres to start with. Oh, go on.
Kalon's going around the outside of...
that's Isaac.
Denoso. Oh, is it Isaac?
Yeah, Isaac's in the... Denoso is in the Force India.
Oh right, I'm trying to get used to this broadcaster camera so I can see a bit more of the action. I'm commentating on the wrong car.
Top three have broken away a little bit. So Danny still leads Sven, who leads Timp, each by 3 to 5 tenths apiece. Brandon Lee is 1.2 down at the moment, but he has got Max all over his rear wing. That is for fourth position. Raven has got AC on Nobody right with him. That's Ramdrop, that's not too far behind. The Red Bull having a look at the inside of the Williams as they come down to turn 3. Is he going to have a crack at it? No, he thinks better of that one. There is Fabrizio Donoso in the 14 duo. He's got the other Sauber of Fela right there with him in 10th position. Kalon leads a big old train right behind him. This is where our soft runners are. If I get their tyres, there we go. Oh, actually, Isaac is actually right in this mixture. He's on the ultra softs. He's had a terrible, terrible start. He finds himself in 12th, right amongst those soft runners, non-runners. Slick Fizzy is there on the super softs. He opted for the red mark tyre instead of the ultras. Segro is right there as well, along with Riker Gordon, Topar, and Kez. You just saw at the back of the shot.
Yes, Ramdrop just took Nobody for P7. Fantastic move inside of turn 7. Made it look nice and easy. It looks like now Nobody's going to get the DRS. He's going to close in to Ramdrop, and then he's going to get another blast down this straight. I think is this a DRS? I think it. There
are two DRS zones in there. Topar's in. Topar has started to come in very early. There was no front wing change on that. He's gone on to the super soft tyres. So a change of strategy then for the Mercedes. That's going to really hurt he's towards the top of the championship at the moment, but that is going to hurt his championship challenge.
Yeah, you're right, it is. Topar, we've seen so many times he's been right up there, but he's had a little bit of a string of bad luck, so to speak, with various penalties applied after races and all sorts. So, yes, he'll be frustrated in P19.
I wonder if Brandon Lee's got damage, because he is falling. He's beginning to get himself a bit of a gap between himself and Max, but he is losing time on Timp ahead of him. He's 1.7 down now from the Toro Rosso ahead of him. I wondered if he was going to wander off track then, but he didn't, keeping it nice and clean. They come around 36 racing laps as we just begin lap 5.
Oh, we've got a position change for P10 almost. We have Fela on the...
Oh no! Brandon Lee!
Got a penalty. Oh, Nobody's just lost the back end a little bit coming out of turn 1.
Non-runner are doing the same thing with that is Isaac right behind him. So Isaac is not having a great race here in Austria. He's going to be forced to the outside of turn 2 and keeps it nice and clean.
Got it. Didn't get the move on non-runner. It is possible, but really you want to be on the inside line.
Oh, Brandon Lee has actually lost 4th position. Sorry to cut you off there, Hamish. He's just lost that 4th position to Max. So Brandon Lee is struggling.
Yeah, it looks like Brandon just...
Whoa! He's gone way off the track in between turns 4 and 5.
Oh, Brandon's got huge issues. I wonder if he's going to come into the pits. He's got plenty of fuel. He's dropped into lean. That means he's coming in? No, it isn't. So I'm going to inspect his car for the next lap and see if he's got any damage.
It would look like that would be the first kind of port of call. Even with DRS, he's got nothing. On Max, I can't believe that's a setup issue that he's got there. As we see Isaac has come into the pits as well. That's going to drop him right the way down the field. What is he going to go on to? That's going to be super softs then for the Haas. 0 front wing change for him. Nope, it is just a tyre change. Isaac will then... Oh, that's a big old hold as well. So I wonder why he was held so long. There was no one else in pits, and they'd already done the change. It wouldn't have been a stop-go penalty. So not sure what was going on there with Isaac, but that's going to drop him down to last position. Lovely helicam shot here with Sven and Danny for the lead. Danny has not been able to break away from Sven at all, more than what you see. That's half a second as Fela gets ahead of Fabdonna. So look at that side by side. Oh goodness me, that's so close. Sorry, Hamish, what was that?
No, I was about to commentate on that piece of action, but I didn't want to, just in case we got a change for the lead. Those two guys, they are battling all the way from turn 4 all the way to turn 7, as you saw. So they had a few corners, and they would been side by side for that entire section.
Another 3-second penalty. Now, I did hear tell that we could be seeing kind of Russia levels of penalties on this race. And there's another one. That's Fab Donazo. That's got
the second one he's picked up.
Oh, my goodness.
So he's got 2 penalties now.
That's going to hurt.
Raven's behind Brandon. Now, is Raven going to have the jump on Brandon Lee? I haven't seen any damage on his car, so unless his setup's really bizarre, I'm not really sure what else to say. But he seems to be struggling, but he hasn't lost a huge amount of time to Max in this lap, so it'll be interesting to see if he falls off. These soft tyres, though, ultra soft tyres, they do drop off in the last 5 laps, which is round about now. They last 14 to 15 laps, so they are going to drop off fairly soon.
Timp is beginning to close in on the top 2, so the battling that Sven, or the pressure that Sven is putting on Danny, is slowing him up, as tends to be the case. DRS open on the Renault. He's getting very, very close within 3/10 as they come into turn 1. But whoa, you see Timp really kicking the tail out. He's losing the rear traction on that Toro Rosso, but Sven can't just ignore what's behind him. He's got to be careful of the move he makes. He's having a look on the inside of turn 3. This will be for the race. Can Danny swing around the outside? The move's not yet done.
I think it is. He's going to have the inside for the next corner.
He has got him. He's got DRS again. So, yes, that's actually enabled him to complete the move. And Danny had to defend straight away from Timp. Oh, and there's contact there. That was a minor bit of contact between the Haas and the Renault. And now Timp is right in there.
Yeah, Timp's going to have a look at Danny anytime soon as these guys are scrapping over. We've got a proper battle for the lead now. Is Danny going to be able to live with Sven's pace? You saw he came 3rd in the esports, however that doesn't matter now. This is AOR, and Danny is 2nd of the championship, and he's a seriously fast driver. Last time he had a bit of a drought of wins, 5 rounds without a win. He picked up 1 last round. Will he be able to get the double this time out in Austria? Only time will tell.
Indeed, but you saw Danny get all out of shape on that last turn. That actually caused Tim to have to get out of it a little bit as well. And you can see Sven is beginning to build himself again. That's already half a second that the leader now has for himself. Will Sven be able to run off into the distance? Has he looked after his tyres a little bit better? Now Tim is going to try and get DRS on Danny. You'd see how that Haas is twitching. He just cannot get the power down when he really needs it. DRS open for Danny. That's going to keep him in contention with Sven. But that gap does look like it's going towards in the Renault's favour as they lock up into turn 3.
Yes, so Danny coming through turn 6, 7, still behind Sven. This is where Sven made that move, that crucial move stick last lap. And it looks like they're sort of settling into their pace. In fact, Sven's 8 tenths of a second ahead and pulling out. So I wonder if Danny's tyres have gone off a little bit quicker than Sven's. This is what Sven needs, that 1 second gap. So Danny can't get DRS. He has it at the moment. Is Tim going to try and move on the inside of turn 1? Surely not. He does look at it, though.
He has a think about it. Yeah, I mean, that would have been. But he was closing in on the Haas. He either had to back out of it, which, of course, he then chose to do. But yeah, I mean, Danny did do quite a few qualifying laps as well. So I wouldn't be at all surprised whether he's just burnt the best out of those tyres earlier than Sven.
Yes, you may very well be right. And it looks like, actually, the DRS detection, I thought we had 2 DRS detections. I don't...
I think one detection, 2 zones.
No, there are 2 detections. The second detection is sort of 3/4 of the way up back straight between 1 and 3.
But Danny's already out of DRS range of Sven, so this is a prime opportunity now for the Renault to run off into the distance, and Danny doesn't look like he has an answer at the moment.
No, it doesn't. But
Tim's made a mistake.
Lost a little bit of time.
Yeah, he made a mistake through that. I think it's 6, 7, 8 complex as he comes through the last 2 turns. No one's pitting at the moment. Oh, Brandon again! He is struggling so much. There's the Red Bull just going out the shot with the Williams in tow, and that's Max. 7 tenths ahead of Brandon at the moment. So yeah, the Red Bull is struggling badly. As Failure's in.
Yeah, Kerry seems to be having quite a bit of a love affair with the gravel. That's the second time he's went in. He's lost an absolute ton of time. He's now in P18.
Soft tyres for Failure.
Interesting. So he's hoping that they go to the end. I mean, the last 22 ish laps. They've got very high chance of punches though, from about lap 25. So, he must have made a mistake. Otherwise, I don't think he'd be making that call to come in.
My game didn't want to let me know what tyres it was. It started red and then magically turned yellow, and then of course the car came out of the garage as opposed to the pit box. So the usual issue there. Let's have a look at some of the other battles we've got. We've got a three-way train here of Max, Brandon Lee, and Raven. This is of course the Williams with Raven at the back of that train, and two of them are in. That is Brandon and Max. I think it just came into the pit. It was. So the Sauber and the Red Bull both coming in. We'll see if Brandon gets a new front wing on that Red Bull. Answer is no. He goes to the soft tyres as well, interestingly. I thought they would be going super soft. Ultra soft on the Sauber. Ooh, interesting. He's committed to a two-stop now. And Rico Gordon, one of the Ferraris, then getting himself another penalty.
Yeah, I mean, if you see any drivers going on to the super soft, the chances are they're doing a two-stopper. They're doing super soft. So if you see them going up to a soft, that's a one-stop. You see change for P16. Oh! Brandon Lee had to really get his arms out with Topa there and doing a good job of it as well. They've just came out of the pit, so this is quite crucial for the net 5th place in the race. And
that's three penalties though, so we're going to have to bear in mind. Oh, as that Red Bull goes very, very wide. We're also looking at Tim. Tim has closed the gap and the top. I thought all three of the top three had come in then. Danny and Tim are in. Sven, interesting, has chosen to continue, which I don't really blame him. If he's managed to look after those ultra softs better than the two nearby, why not?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting. Timp has an awful lot of fuel. He's got over 4 laps of extra fuel. Danny's pretty much ran it down to the wire, and Sven is getting there.
Softs on both of them, and a lot of people have come in at the same time here. We've got Raven and Nobody have also come in. I think they're coming out. Oh, the Ravens come out on super softs by the look of it. Although the game, the car shows red and the overlay says yellow. So, excellent Christmas tree lights for the Kez has now got himself a penalty as well. So yeah, we're getting a decent collection of penalties here. Fab Donoso's now gone his way up to 4th position because of the pit stops. I'm going to keep an eye on Sven though. Oh, hang on, no, not. I'm going to have a look at Slick, who's right with Fab Donoso. This is for 4th position, and also right behind them, you've got Non-Runner and Riker Gordon having a battle in the Renault and Ferraris respectively.
Yeah, I mean, that McLaren is really breathing down the Force India's neck.
Sven's
is going to be able to make a move stick. So Sven is in. Now Danny had a little bit of clear air, and he's only 19 seconds behind. But it is
That's going to be close.
How long a pit stop take? It's going to be really close. It's going to be so close. In fact, I think Danny is going to get the race lead as Sven comes out. So Sven made a crucial strategy error.
Sorry, side by side into turn 1. Oh, and Zazie Nobody picks up a penalty. Oh, Fab Donoso gets very, very sideways, trying to defend from Slick. Oh, we've got a big old battle forming here. Sven actually comes out ahead of Danny, so that has paid off. Although Riker, they're all part of this big mixture here.
I mean, there's an awful lot of cars and next to each other. Is Non-Runner going to be kind to his teammates? I somehow doubt it. So let's have a look. If Sven goes on the inside, it looks like that's very kind there by Non-Runner. I think he purposely gave him the space. So fair play. So it's now Slick is next up in the McLaren, and Ben, he has to dispatch of his esports rival, So Sven, wow!
Nice!
What a move!
The McLaren went wide at turn 5, and that just opened the door for Sven, and Sven just dived straight through. Sven already back up to 4th on the back of Fab Donoso, who I don't believe has pitted yet. He hasn't. The top 3, Ramdrop, Kalon and Fab Donoso, have not pitted. This looks like it's going to be a pretty straightforward move for the Renault, and I think Fab Donoso backs out of that one, but look at the gaggle of cars behind.
Oh! Huge crash with a Force India! What
happened there? No!
Donoso's out of the race!
He is gone. We didn't really see. Just as the camera panned away, Fab Donoso actually was out of the shot, so we didn't quite see the incident happen. So we saw he was struggling with those sides. He was just weaving around everywhere, trying to get traction, but that has cost him the race.
It has indeed. I did actually see what happened. He lost the back end and he pretty much ploughed in straight into the wall. He went right by 90 degrees straight into the wall, and that is obviously his race out. He's going to be gutted. That's twice in a row.
Twice in a row
now.
It is.
So yeah, clearly he was on form in the esports. He isn't at the moment in AOR, and we've got this really close train behind Sven, although I think Sven's pulling away. Danny's behind Non-Runner and Slick, and he needs to get past them ASAP. He got past Timp last lap after a late move. Not Timp, sorry. He got past one of the drivers.
Oh dear, Riker Gordon couldn't slow down in time for the pit lane, and has got himself a speeding penalty. Formula Danny sizing up Non-Runner now. It's going to have DRS down this straight heading towards turn 3. It's going to be a pretty straightforward move for the Haas. Timp is not far behind. He's trying to size up with the same move. And there goes, big lock up then into turn 3 for the Haas, but he's got that move done. But he is about 5 seconds behind Sven, so he's going to have to hope Sven gets snarled up somewhere to try and close in for that race lead.
Yeah, he is. I mean, Sven's just being able to use his clear air to pull away now from Danny in the dirty air and traffic. He's with guys who've got old tires on at the moment, so he should get past Slick fairly quickly. Didn't want to use a pun there. And we are going to have a look if he can pull a move. And that is a very slick move on Slick. That's one.
You were waiting for that, weren't you?
I was waiting for it. And that is actually a really impressive move, especially down the inside of turn 9. And now he has to chase after Sven. Sven gets the fastest lap. It'll be interesting to see if Danny can pull in that gap, as Kalon has just got himself a 3-second penalty. There's an awful lot of drivers with penalties. We will give you an update on that on around lap 20. We'll count up all the penalties and let you know what the grid is looking like.
By we mean you, as Segro is alongside Fizzy. Oh, goodness me, I thought he was going to cut in too early. That's no ACR nobody trying to fly through on the inside of the McLaren. This is for 13th position. And there you see in the background, that's ACR failure, not too far behind. As pretty much every car along this straight gets DRS. Red Bull jumps in front of the McLaren, goes very, very deep into turn 3. Just about manages to keep Segro at bay. Let's jump back up to our leaders then. They still have to pit, and I think this is exactly what Ramdrop's going to do. Yes, he does. Whoa, we just see Kalon going way too wide at the final turn 10. So he actually did get DRS off of Ramdrop. So he's still got DRS, but he's not going to be able to keep that charging runner behind him for very long, as those tyres are pretty worn out. Let's pick up Ramdrop. What's he going on to? I think it was soft tyres on that Ferrari. I can't see. I know what the overlay says, but yep, that is soft tyres on the red car. He's going to fall right the way down because the field is still so tightly compact. He's going to fall right the way down to 15th. And he's going to possibly lose that position to Core Isaac. No, he keeps hold of that one. So look at that. There's a big gaggle of cars forming there. Topard's just lost a position to Brandon Lee. That's on the inside of turn 1. But the Mercedes is not satisfied with that. Oh, sorry, beg your pardon, it was turn 2. As they head on down to turn 3. Big old lock-up for the Red Bull and the Mercedes. Brandon Lee is not having a good time here. It looks like it's going to be a pretty straightforward move for Topard, but Brandon Lee's going to have the inside for turn 6. And they hang on to that one. Mercedes then trying to do something about the Red Bull, but he's got to keep an eye behind him for ACR Raven. As Kalon is coming into the pits now. That's going to give the lead back to the Renault of Sven. He's got himself a 4-ish second. Oh, there's some more penalties. Topar as well. There was 2 penalties in there. I didn't see who the first one was. Supersoft or Ultrasoft for Kalon? Supersoft. I would be surprised at this point if it was Ultrasoft. Supersoft then for the Toro Rosso. Let's see how he gets on. Sven.
So,
go on.
So, give you a quick update with the penalties to obviously button if there's any other action. We have Topar. He's got that 1 penalty we just saw. Kalon has a penalty. Segro has a penalty. Brandon Lee has 2 penalties. Nobody has a penalty. Ryko Gordon has a penalty. Kez has a penalty. And Isaac has a penalty. So whatever time you can see, it's plus 3 seconds. Unfortunately for Ryko Gordon, he also had a stop-go. So I'm not sure if he served that or not.
Either he would have had that for speeding the pit lane, so we didn't see his stop, so I would assume that he served it at the time. As we're having a look at Tim, then sizing up Slick for that third position. Doesn't quite get the rate of knots he needs. Heading down through the last 2 turns, gets a little bit wide on that final turn. Now he's going to have DRS down the start finish straight. Can he claim the McLaren in turn 1? Has a big old look, but decides against it. Now is going to be his opportunity then. Get a decent run through turn 1. Slick had a decent run as well as Topar comes into the pits again. Wonder what the Mercedes is going to do this time.
So it looks like Tim's going to have a look on the inside of the hairpin. He doesn't get any luck. Meanwhile, behind him, we've got Max and Non-Runner closing in on him. And Max and Non-Runner are so close to each other. Max is on the ultra soft tyres, so he's going to be taking a look at Non-Runner on the inside of 6, and that's a pretty solid move. So fair play, Max. Now Non-Runner's going to come back at him. No, he isn't. So Max is going to use that extra grip to hopefully try and close up to Tim and Slick.
He's going for a very short middle stint then on those ultra softs, so they should be good. I can't remember what point he pitted, as we see Tim and Slick side by side. Whoa, Tim taking the outside, Slick actually coming into the pits at that particular point. Slick did commit to the pit lane at the correct time, but of course Tim wouldn't have known that Slick was planning to come into the pits at that particular point. He was just probably fed up being stuck behind him. So Sven leads Danny by 4 seconds, who leads Timp by 4 seconds. But Timp has a big old trainers. Non-runner gives himself a penalty now for multiple warnings. It seems that it's the last couple of turns that are catching people out. So as Isaac is in the pits again, oh, goodness me, his race is going from bad to disastrous.
It is. I mean, yeah, we cut out bad to worse. I mean, yeah, like you said, disastrous. That's pretty much summed it up. I mean, he started in P10. Pretty solid debut, and now he's in plumb last place, 39 seconds off the lead, and unlikely to get any points unless people get penalties, which obviously does include Isaac. And we've got Max closing in on Timp a little bit. He isn't that dirty out of a Toro Rosso driver. He's going to get DRS for this main straight, I suppose, or the start-finish straight. I wonder when he's going to be coming into a pits. Like we said earlier, they last about 14-15 laps.
Oh, that's Non-Runner off. Non-Runner overcooked it at the last turn. That's allowed Brandon Lee and ACR Raven. Yeah, he just overcooked it at the last turn. Had to get out of it. And an easy pass then for the Renault and the Williams, respectively, as Fizzy comes into the pits then. In the Pink Panther. Oh, goodness me, struggle to slow that down. Another penalty for Topar. Anyone that doesn't get a penalty is going to gain a hell of a lot of positions. I'm assuming this is the first pit stop for Fizzy. It is indeed. So standard stop for him and ultra soft for the Pink Panther. Well, why not, I guess.
Just to let you know, interestingly on Max's car, it says ultra soft for us on the screen, or at least it does for me.
It does for me,
but
yeah.
It's soft on the race director, so I'm not entirely sure
that's the first. Well, usually race director's been right, so it'd be interesting to try and catch up with Max after the race to see what tyres he's on. Well, also just to see how long they last for. That'll be the biggest indicator. But the rate of knots he's gaining over everybody, I wouldn't be surprised if they were ultra soft, because the just the sheer pace difference. I wouldn't have expected to see such a big difference from soft to super soft. Soft to ultra soft, yes, but not just one compound.
He's done 12 laps on them, so I'd be surprised if they're not falling off at the moment, but maybe he just does have a pace. I mean, we saw in qualifying, he was very solid. He got P3, so he definitely has some good pace. And whether he can overtake Timp, we're yet to find out. He's going to have DRS now. It's a good opportunity. Keep him the slipstream, but he's not close enough, I don't think, unless he tries some audacious move down the inside, which he doesn't.
Ooh, indeed. But obviously, if he has had those tyres on for 12 laps, then they are going to be falling off the cliff pretty damn soon. He is nailed to the back of our current championship leader, Timp, as they come through turn 6. Very, very close. You see Brendan Lee now getting very, very interested in this battle. He's had a pretty bad start of the race, but he's really now beginning to come into form. Oh, Max getting very wide on the penultimate corner. Now's an opportunity for the Red Bull of Brandon Lee. Oh, he nearly runs into the back of the Sauber. Non-runner comes into the pits side by side. Oh my goodness me, the Red Bull's going to have to make a move. No. Not a double move, no!
He's lost it! Brendan's lost it, and ACR Raven has overtaken Brendan. Raven's now on the back of Max. And I think Raven's going to get positioned to turn 4. Let's see if he does. Braking late. Max brakes later.
Oh, switchback!
That's smooth.
What a beautiful move. He planned that one perfectly. But yeah, Brendan, I don't think he intended to make a double overtake there. I just honestly think that Tim slowed down a little bit quicker than Brandon was expecting. Or he did indeed just overshoot his braking mark. I'm not convinced he was going for a double overtake at that point. I think he was just simply caught out. But yeah, that's adding to Brandon Lee's woes somewhat, as he's now behind ACR Nobody. He's right behind his now teammate. But we'll see if he's able to get back past and make his way up the field. Timp is losing time on Formula Danny. That's 7 seconds now between second and third, as ACR Nobody gets himself a penalty as well. So yeah, Sven is having a pretty quiet race out there in the lead in the Renault. He's still 4.3 there or thereabouts from Formula Danny. He's probably just taking his time, not pushing too hard. But Timp he's now built up nearly a second or thereabouts over Raven, but Raven's still got that Toro Rosso right with him.
Yeah, I mean, Danny seems to have not really lost any time to Sven. He's just kept it, and I think it was that traffic that did for him. Like you said earlier, he was about 5 seconds behind Sven during that traffic, and he's got the right pace, but he obviously isn't able to capitalise on it. Brandon Lee, the tyres he's got on is obviously suiting him at the moment. I mean, obviously until his little spin, he was doing very well indeed. He's now behind his teammate. I wonder if there's... Well, I don't know. I don't think they're in Discord, so there won't be much discussion going on.
Yeah, we did end up with a position last week where we had just no one to talk to post race. So
yes.
that was a bit of a shame. So, well, I say no one. We had like 5 or 6 people in, but we still had we were still able to speak to quite a few people in the end. But I just would have preferred to have a bit more selection from our drivers. Brandon Lee, even under DRS, was not able to get alongside Nobody. So, again, we're not really sure what's going on with Brandon Lee's car, whether he's damaged or just has made a bad call on setup. I'd be surprised if it was the latter. But, I mean, he did start in 5th position, I think it was. So he may have had just a tag from someone in the early stage of the race. Under DRS, he's just got no answer at all. Nobody is streaking away from him.
Yeah, he lost a lot of traction. Sometimes, like, your setup is, like, it's suited for qualifying, not for race, and I can see he's losing a lot of rear traction, so I'm wondering if that's where he's losing all this time, under the rears. It'll be interesting if he goes wide into the gravel, and that's cost him even more time. Kalon's going to be looking at him pretty soon if he's not careful. In fact, Kalon's closing in very quickly indeed. Danny's lost a little bit of time to the leader, and we've still got Timp and Raven like toe to toe. So
Max is
Raven's going to try and move.
Yeah, Max is falling off the back. Oh, that was there. Williams getting very close on the braking. Obviously, the Williams on screen has got the red marked super softs on, but on the overlay he's got the softs on. I'd be surprised if it was the red marked tyre. But yeah, Max is really falling off this battle now. So I think the best of his tyres have gone. Lovely helicam shot, actually getting all 3 of those drivers in there. It does look inevitable that the Williams is going to claim our championship leader at the earliest opportunity. And another penalty for the the other Williams, of course.
It's not Kez's day at all, is it? He's penalty after issue. That's the second penalty now for Kez. As I'm just skillfully talking and writing down at the same time, multitasking at its very best. We've got a little battle with Seagro and Kez for P17 and 16, and just in front of them is Isaac. He's gained a little bit of time. Originally he was plumb last. Fizzy has taken that crown now, so we could see a seriously exciting battle for P15.
Kalon and Brendan Lee are getting pretty close again, so can the Toro Rosso do anything about the Red Bull ahead? As they now come through turn 1, Brendan Lee's had a decent enough drive out of that turn. As they are they closing in on ACR Nobody? We'll have to see. Ooh, big lock up for Kalon then as they come into 2. And everyone pretty much behaving themselves. It does look like they're closing back in on ATR Nobody, so the battle of the Red Bulls does look like it's going to resume pretty soon.
Yeah, the most exciting battle at the moment, I think, is Timp and Raven. They're very close. Max is very much in that battle, whether he's just keeping himself a little bit of a gap, because he does have the extra fuel, he can use Rich Mix, whereas the guys ahead have less fuel than Max. So I'm thinking Max is just staying behind just a little bit, so he can stay in that slightly cleaner air, and when he really needs to make the move, that's when he's going to choose it. Because this is for P3, so it's a pretty major spot for AOR. Raven has DRS. Is he going to be able to
Oops! Sorry,
a move?
I just looked at Kez, who was side by side with Segro, but a little bit of wheel banging going on between or it looked like wheel banging between the Williams and the McLaren, and that sent Kez off into the gravel. No, he is now last.
Yeah, Kez has had a bad race. I mean, Kez he's got a couple of points. He's got 10 points, so he's
He's on the board.
maybe that's how it is. I mean, he got to 8 points last. He got P8. Sorry,
and
last
Kez
time
is out. Kez is out. Oh, Danny!
Yeah.
Danny's got himself a penalty. Ooh.
That's not going to play into. That's not huge of a moment, only because he's got a 10-second gap to Timp. But that could play a pretty big role later on if he makes some mistakes.
Why is the? I was saying, why was the yellow flag? I wondered if it was Kez's Williams, but the Williams is actually back in the pits now, so don't know what that yellow flag was for. And Raven is all over the back of Timp at the moment, and there you just see Max in that shot. Now there surely is an opportunity then for the American to have a go at him. There he goes on the inside of turn one. Can he slow it down enough? Lock up, there's still side by side. Tim very well defended there, and a decent amount of space given by Raven. That's now Tim resuming that third position. Now Raven has a look on the inside of turn three.
Oh, Max is coming to have a look as well. Sorry, I sort of interrupted there, but it wasn't quite as impressive as I thought it was. Max, how consistent has he been? He's like, his average finishing position is basically fifth.
Yeah.
I
think he's had a couple of finishes outside of that. I think it's been like 5, 6, 5, 4, 10 or something like that.
He had a P10 in Spain. That's his worst position.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's 5, 6, and 7. 7th, obviously, Baku. So 5th. Again, if he can improve on that,
it seems to be his number.
Third,
not too far behind. It's the double Red Bull and Toro Rosso combination of Brandon Lee, ATR Nobody, and Kalon. So that particular train is catching up with this one. So yeah, looks like we're going to have a 6-way train forming very, very soon.
Yes, I mean, for podium spot, I mean, if you're not winning, second's nice, obviously, but you want to be on the podium if you're not winning. And for these guys, that's going to play a huge role, especially for Raven. I mean, he's been so unlucky earlier on in the season. Now he's starting to get it together. He got that P2 in Bahrain, and he's also got that P2 in Canada. It's just he needs to go one better. 4th place last time out.
Oh, the Red Bulls are side by side. Sorry, cut you off again, Hamish.
That's okay.
Brandon did manage to nose ahead, but Nobody did manage to string around the outside. They're still side by side. That broadcast camera's doing me nothing at all. Brandon Lee throws it on the inside, locks up a little bit at turn 3, does manage to slow it down, and does get that position from his teammate. Nobody was not giving him that position easily at all.
Kalon's going around the outside of a Red Bull.
Oh, Brandon Lee's off again. Oh, that's going to unsettle him through that next turn, and he gets the tail out. That's not going to help him. Is Nobody going to get the extra pace he needs? No, not quite. I think he's going to have to stay in that position for now.
Yeah, that's so close. Kalon almost had that position on Nobody, but then Brandon made a mistake and a bunch of them all back up. Kalon's got the DRS on Nobody. He got a better drive out of that final corner. Now is Kalon going to do what Brandon Lee did earlier on in the race, braking nice and late? Oh, Nobody brakes really late, and he's right onto the back of Brandon. Nobody got a poor exit. Kalon's right behind Nobody as he was coming up to that first corner. I imagine they're going to stay in single file for this corner, and they all take it fairly cleanly. Brandon Lee's gone wide. Kalon's got the inside of Nobody, and he hasn't been able to pull that off. Is Nobody going to get a move on Brandon Lee? He's got the DRS. Is he going to look on the inside or the outside? No, he isn't.
Brandon Lee is defending for everything he's got, and Nobody is not backing off. There's no multi-21 going on this time, and Kalon is right there to capitalise if it all does come to tears. It seems to be here that Brandon Lee seems to be struggling the most. We've seen him going off into that into that dirt patch quite a few times. Again, look how wide he's gone. It could just be preference, but it does seem very, very deep into that turn 6.
That a lot. He has been doing that a lot. We've noticed so many times. In fact, Brandon goes very wide.
Very wide,
That's gonna give nobody another opportunity. He's got the DRS. Brandon isn't quite close enough to Max. He's a couple of seconds off Max to be able to get the DRS. As he is closing in on that train, non-runner has a penalty. He's in P13, so that's not really going to affect him, to be honest. He's not doing very well anyway.
He's not having a good race today, that is certainly true. We've seen some good things from non-runner before, but today certainly not his day. Ooh, big lockup from Kalon. He closes right in on ATR Nobody. This could force Nobody into a more defensive position and give Brandon a bit of breathing space. But what I'm quite liking is the fact that ATR Nobody is really sticking it to Brandon Lee. Yes, Brandon Lee may be the esports world champion. That's giving him absolutely no quarter at all. Good on you. Don't be intimidated by who the person is. Still give them a decent racing challenge. I'm glad to see that. Oh, Kalon!
Another penalty. Brandon, he goes wide every time at that corner. I say wide, he's taking an alternate line, which he's obviously chosen, and for him, that obviously works best. I think we see him carry an awful lot of entry speed, which is why we often see him go wide into the gravel. Kalon's got to run on Nobody. Is he going to be the last of the late breakers? Through turn 1, yes he is. He's got Kalon, he's got Nobody on the inside. He needs to get this drive. Nobody's got a pretty good drive as well. They're neck and neck, and I think Nobody's just going to have a little bit of extra power down that straight, or some slightly...
But again! How did they not hit? How did they not? I mean, driven by both Kalon and ATR Nobody then to avoid contact, and that has indeed given Brandon Lee the breathing space he needs, as ATR Nobody is now having to defend for everything he's got. There's Failer in the background closing in on that particular battle as well. Slightly further ahead, we see this battle between Raven and Tim has not died down at all, and Max is right there as well to capitalise, but he's falling a little bit further off. I would imagine the best of those softer tyres are absolutely gone now, so this is going to leave Raven to attack Tim as opposed to defend from Max.
Yeah, I'm just going to have a quick look on the race director, see when all these guys pitted, and then it will give us an idea on what their tyre life is like. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that.
You carry on then, as we see Kalon getting very, very close once again to ATR Nobody. Brandon looks very, very steady through that first turn, so that's allowing as Isaac and Topar both get themselves additional penalties. You note those two down, please, Hamish, whilst you're doing your other thing. And again, a big lockup for Kalon as he nearly goes into the back of the Red Bull, but Brandon has been slow through that turn 3 and through that turn 2. Sorry, Nobody having a look on the outside. Brandon defending. Can Nobody string around the outside? Kalon's had to get out of it. They're still side by side. Brandon has not got the traction he needs. Oh my goodness me, the Red Bull's nearly coming together. ATR Nobody now having the inside for turn 5. They're still side by side. Brendan is not letting that go at all. Oh, Kalon's gone off. You were our cameraman. No, don't do that to us. The Red Bull's still side by side through the next 2 turns. Slick's got himself a penalty. Someone else got himself a penalty as well. They're still side by side now. Can Nobody? Brandon's still got the inside. Oh my God, they're not letting each other go. Now coming back onto the start-finish straight. Nobody has had to slot back behind Brandon Lee. Goodness me. I say that, they're still side by side. One of you make up your mind. There we go. Brandon Lee has finally got back ahead of ATR Nobody. That was a good 2/3 of the lap. They were side by side, and Brandon Lee resumes that 6th position.
Yeah, I mean, if their lap times, their tyre life in terms of what that's looking like, it's pretty much identical. You've got Tim pitting lap 12, Raven lap 12, Max lap 12, Max lap 11, apologies. Brandon pitted lap 11, and Nobody lap 12.
There's a big old chain coming behind them as well, as we're looking at Failer with Slick right on his tail, and just ahead of him is Topar and then Ramdrop. And oh my goodness me, the race has actually gone so much I've completely missed.
Oh, wow.
And Brandon gets himself a penalty as well. That's going to be disastrous, as Sven has actually won the race without me actually realising we were on the final lap. Danny then has taken that 2nd position. Timp is going to cross. Apologies, ladies and gentlemen, I just completely lost track of where we were. Tim comes across the line in 3rd, Raven 4. And Max...
Brandon bottled it.
Oh, no!
No, he let his teammate through. Out of courtesy, Brandon let his teammate through.
But he had a penalty to apply. That's actually put him out of the points. He's down in 12th. Oh, no. What a disaster for Brandon Lee. So now that the penalties are being applied, I mean, some of these penalties may well be contested post-race. Raven is in 4th behind Tim. Max was actually elevated to 5th. Ramdrop, that's always, we just see one of the Reddits slam into the back of the Ferrari there. Ramdrop comes across the line, he's elevated to 6th position, and just as I was going through the results, they have just disappeared. So, wow.
That is, wow, what a race. I mean, we saw some really close battling. We saw two Red Bulls side by side for like, I forgot how many corners it was.
Well, it was like 2/3 of the lap, yeah. I apologise, ladies and gentlemen. I totally lost track. I hadn't even looked at the lap count pretty much since about lap 12. I totally lost track, and then it wasn't until I saw time remaining pop up. I was like, oh my god, the race is finished.
I mean, yes. I mean, a good win by Sven. I mean, P2 last time out, win this time out. That's 25 points to add to his 18. Danny, again, as always, he is really solid. Tim, I forgot where Tim finished. He got P3, didn't he?
Yeah, third with no penalties. Raven 4, Max 5. That was Ramdrop in 6th, Fader 7, Slick 8, ATR Nobody 9, Topar finished in 10th despite his penalties, Non-Runner 11, Brandon Lee 12, Seagro 13, Isaac 14 in his debut in the league, Kalon 15, Fizzy 16, Riker Gordon 17, and that's Fab Donato and Kez as non-finishers at the bottom.
Yeah, so slowly but surely, Danny is closing in on Timp. He's just going to be 7. Hang on, let me do the maths quickly. It'll be 12 minus 7, whatever. Oh no, it won't be. It'll be
well, I mean,
9 points behind Tim.
That's assuming is assuming that there aren't any stewards inquiries, because I mean there were a lot of those penalties. There was one that actually involved Kalon, and we were watching him at the time, and I thought that's a little harsh because he didn't look like he'd gone all 4 wheels over the line, but he may well have done. Everything was happening so quickly. Actually, there's only 3 of our drivers that are in Discord, and none of them are the. I was just saying that actually Tim's just appeared, and they're actually joining Discord now. I was looking at the list, and there's only 3 of them there, and they're actually appearing in Discord now. So hopefully, we'll be able to speak to our top drivers very, very shortly.
We might be able to drag Danny in very soon. He's came up to have a chat. Fizzy has also came up.
He might have been put there. He was unceremoniously shoved into that channel last time. We found out post race. So
I don't see why comes in Discord at the moment.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Fizzy really would want to talk to us. Bearing in mind he finished at the back of the field, but we will have a word with Danny. Certainly, let's grab him over here. And here he is. Hello to you, Danny.
Hello, guys.
Well, that turned into later on for you. That turned into a slower race. How was that for you? How are you feeling?
I practiced with Sven during the week, and I really knew that he is that fast. And I was very happy that I could get the pole position, but I really prepared that he will overtake me, because on race pace, all of the practices he was about 3 or 4 times faster than me in every lap, and he had a much better tire wear. So I was quite happy that I could defend him until lap 8, where he got past eventually, and it was a nice move from him. And after he just threw the race. When we came into the pit, we came back to traffic, and that was an exciting part to overtake slower cars, but all in all, it wasn't the most intense race I have ever had, but I have to congratulate Sven because he made it.
There was a hell of a lot going on behind you. Let's put it that way. But I would imagine there are times when you just want the race to go to sort of normally and sensibly. So, did you feel that a win was possible against Sven, or are you happy for second?
I'm really happy for second place. Of course, I could be more happier with win, but today I think I just have to accept that it was not possible, because I tried to push as hard as I could. I even got a penalty while he didn't. And when I came under 4 seconds, he always answered. But with a lap that was again 3 or 4 tenths faster than me, while I didn't make any mistake, and I just simply didn't understand it. So I guess he didn't even go on the limit. So he was the guy today.
Great stuff. Well, that's going to help in your championship bid as well, as obviously you were just ahead of Tim. We have got we have quite a few drivers joining us in the combat, so thank you for that, Danny. Next one I want to talk to is Timp. You had a hell of a lot of fighting going on there.
Yeah, I had a front wing damage and a soft stint, so it was kind of struggle to drive fast. So I'm happy with P3, to be honest. Like,
yeah, I'm sure Raven's got a few things to say, because it did look like Raven was wanting to get past you, but I'll come to Raven shortly. Did you feel that sort of further up the podium was possible, or was sort of the podium position where you were aiming for at the beginning of the race?
I mean, I didn't even expect to be the podium in the race, but I mean, I would have been the pace without the front wing damage to catch Danny, or stay behind him, but I was just like, I'm happy about that. Yeah, P3, but yeah, I'm not. Yeah.
Great stuff. Raven, how was that for you, good sir?
It was pretty crazy. The final lap kind of nearly gave me final 2 laps kind of gave me a heart attack. My wheel like overheated or something, and then all of a sudden I was in mix 3 and I didn't have a lot of fuel to burn, and then like my buttons weren't actually functioning, so I couldn't take it off of mix 3. So then I was just like jittering the wheel going down the straightaway, like, you know, and then my force feedback started going light and all this other stuff, and man, I like nearly panicked at the end. Because,
oh my goodness!
Yeah, I thought I was going to run myself out of fuel, and
yeah,
thankfully everything was enough to come back, and you know I lost some time to temp. With like a lap to go, but it was finally got it back to mix 2, and then I could kind of get my head back on straight and just get to the finish. So
great stuff. I wonder if your wheels wanted to burn itself, because you've got a lot of fires going on in America at the moment, haven't you?
Yeah, it could be. Could be just transferring its way from California over to the other side.
Great result there, good sir. Kalon, you had a fairly decent battle with Brendan as well that we saw. How was that going for you? How's that feeling for you?
I mean, it was like more with nobody. Or not like nobody, but you know, easier on nobody.
Yeah, easier on nobody, yeah. It's a weird sentence, that one. It catches me out as well.
Yeah, but yeah, you know, for some reason he had incredible top speed. Like, I was in a slipstream, DRS, everything, and even then I pulled it alongside, and then he goes on straight again, and that for like, I don't know, 10 laps, and then on the penultimate lap after maybe a perfect race, making the strategy work really great. Then I do a stupid mistake and go into the grass, and everything's thrown away. It's like super disappointing, but yeah, no. Sometimes things go your way, sometimes things go the other way, and yeah.
Very true. Very true. Any questions from you, Hamish?
No, I think you covered them all. What a race towards the end. It really spiced up. We sort of have those two trains starting to merge together, then we got all that battling. But it was a very solid drive from Sven, you've got to admit. Mm-hmm. And Danny he was on the pace for lap after lap. He didn't lose much time. From about 4.5 seconds was pretty much how far he was behind or race. And obviously you had Timp, who finished in P3, and he got a solid race as well. So it'll be interesting to see what it's like next time out in Silverstone.
Silverstone, yes, marks the halfway
break, I think.
Yes, it perfectly times with the Christmas break, halfway in the season, and we will definitely be looking forward to that. We're going to wrap this one up here. That just leaves me to thank the viewers that have been with us throughout. It's always a pleasure to have you in the chat with us. Thank you very much to Hamish Sopwith, as always, for being with me in the commentary box.
No worries, pleasure to be here.
And thank you to our drivers for putting on what was a belting race for us, at least. And we will see you right back here for more AOR action. Thank you very much, and good night.